What's going on, you guys? Slim here with another deck profile from our Pasadena regionals that took place this past weekend. You guys already know the deal. It was 700 plus players, 10 rounds of Swiss. It was insanity, and this player ended up getting 11th place with True King Dinos. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit the notification bell. You guys will be notified whenever I upload, whenever you guys get these awesome deck profiles. Now, I know a lot of people are going to say, Slim, this wasn't top 8, but you need to understand, California regionals are like a YCS. 10 rounds of Swiss, 700 plus players, extremely competitive, and the fact that he got 11th place with Dinos is just amazing. Shout out to you, FABIAN Reyes. He was cool enough to send me the deck list as well as this tournament report, so we've got to get into it. Do not sleep on this deck, this format, you guys. I cannot stress that enough. I honestly feel that Dinos are definitely a deck that you need to pay attention to. We've seen their success in the PPG. We've seen their success on other players' channels. We've seen their success in regionals so far. This deck is crazy. It was crazy before. It's still good. It literally can break the spiral board without blinking an eye. It's just an amazing deck, this format, and something you guys should definitely be paying attention to. So we're gonna get into the deck list and hopefully you guys enjoy. So for the monsters, we got 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash is still the most generic hand trap, even though it may not be the best hand trap this format. Going into a regionals, you need to understand that, especially in the first couple rounds, depending on how things go, you're gonna play a lot of rogues somewhere in the first couple rounds, at least rounds 1 through 4. Ash is like the best against rogues, so there's no reason not to play this card. Plus, this card still comes up against a lot of the meta matches, even if Spiral can chain block it. You've got, of course, the triple baby Sarasaurus, the 1 copy of Pankatrops, the 1 copy of Dagaran, the Kaiju, 1 copy of Giant Rex, the 3 copies of Miscellaneous Saurus. This card back at 3 is insane. The 1 copy of Overtex Quatlus, the 1 copy of Petite Pteranodon, the 3 copies of Soul Eating Oviraptor, 3 copies of the Fire Agmazod, the Vanisher, the True King Fire guy, and the 1 copy of Lithogasm. What I like so far that I've already seen in this list, you guys will notice, there's no copies of the Water True King. I don't play this deck, but I have heard that some players do not like the Water True King, that it can brick you a lot, and summoning it sometimes doesn't come up as much. But with Lithogasm and with the Fire one, those are the ones that come up the most, so it makes sense. And then, of course, 2 copies of Bossman himself, the Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Absolutely love this card. This card is insanity. I mean, it just resolves. You just book the whole board and you just start doing shenanigans. This card is good going first or second. Going second, you can crack a board. Going first, you can prevent your opponent from like link climbing any further. You literally just book their board and be like, well, good luck. It's pretty crazy. That's it for the monsters. To the spells, just 1 copy of Devil Evolution Pill. I've noticed a lot of players have started to go back to just 1 copy. Reason being is you really don't want to draw it. It's not something you're trying to, it's not really something you're trying to resolve more than once. Usually if you resolve it, it's game, and you have your options to bring out either Quatlus or UTC. 90% of the time it's UTC, but it's good to just have the options. So this card just still really strong. You do have the option to search it depending on how you draw, but yeah, when this card resolves, usually it's game because you're getting out UTC and you're usually OTKing the opponent. The 1 copy of Diagram, it's still at 1, so it is what it is. You got to make it work. Card was at 3, now it's at 1. The deck is still doing things with it even at 1. Remember that. It's crazy. I can't say the same for True Draco, but I can definitely tell you that this deck is still going to utilize the 1 copy of Diagram. 3 copies of Fossil Dig because it's Rhoda. It's not once per turn. That's crazy. This card's insane. This card's absolutely insane for Dinos. Like, this card is amazing. He main decked 2 copies of Lightning Storm. This card is becoming a necessary evil already, even though it's just got released. There's so many back row decks in the format that you really need to have a card like this. It also has a Raigeki effect that a lot of people forget. It can blow up a whole board. It can be a blowout. Once you bait in a gate, you can wipe a whole board. So this card is really strong, and I feel like most decks are going to have to play this somewhere in their main deck or their side deck going forward. Unfortunately, again, it's a necessary evil. 2 copies of Lost World, and he did play the 1 copy of Mystic Mind. So if you guys notice, he is playing set rotation in this deck, which I really like as well. Similar to how the Guru player that we profiled played set rotation, but you have these options. You actually have 4 fields in this deck, and you give your opponent any of them. You can give them, 9 times out of 10, I'm assuming you're going to give them Lost World, and you're going to take Diagram or something like that. But you also have Mystic Mind for those later games, or like if you hard draw it, bait their negates, activated. A lot of times there's no out to it. As crazy as that sounds, that can end up being what wins you the game right there. So I like the fact that he included it just for that option. And it was interesting, he only played 2 copies of Extravagance. He explains in some of the tournament report why he only played 2, so we'll get to that when I cover it. But yeah, 2 copies of Extravagance, the 1 copy of Set Rotation, the 1 copy of Terraforming. They're your extra copies of your field spells. In a field spell deck that needs these cards to resolve, there's no reason to not play these cards. They're both extremely strong, and they both get you to what you need. So I really like having both the cards in the deck. And then he main deck 3 copies of Evenly, because that's what this deck does best. It goes second, literally breaks the board, and then just OTKs the opponent. It's so strong to be able to just evenly them and then just blow them out. So this card is insane. This card is definitely a staple this format. I say it every deck profile you see it, but yes, this card is a staple somewhere in your main deck or side deck this format. Onto his side deck, he's got the 1 Scythe, the 1 DD Crow, 2 copies of Joel and Lockbird, 3 copies of Nibiru for the monsters. Pretty standard stuff. Hand traps, and also having Nibiru to be able to just stop the opponent if they overextend is really strong. The Scythe, of course, goes with the Sanctum. You got 2 copies of Dark Ruler No More. You play against a Build-A-Board deck, you literally just turn the board off and break it, because that's what UTC does best. 2 copies of Twin Twister. It goes with the Lightning Strikes for just more back row removal. Just really strong against any of the back row decks. The 2 copies of Sanctum, already mentioned, goes with the Scythe. And 2 copies of Summon Limit. If you're made to go first, which a lot of times can happen because people notice you want to go second with this deck, you just flip over a Summon Limit and the game's pretty much over. If you have UTC and Summon Limit, the opponent's really not playing. They get like maybe 1 or 2 summons off. You book their summons or turn ends, and you just OTK them next turn. So this card's really strong. I like that he played this similar to the Mech Knight list that played this as well when going first. Summon Limit's a pretty scary card, and against these Wombo combo decks, this card really does put in work, so I really like it. And then on to his extra deck, the 1 Dweller, 2 copies of Dulka, 1 copy of Lagia, good old Dino Rabbit days, the 1 copy of Tornado Dragon, because it's really strong against you know, any of the back row decks, the 1 Appaloosa. This deck can make it so easily. This card is really strong. Having this backed with UTC or with a Lagia or Dulka is insane. 1 copy of Borreload, 1 copy of Boral Sword. They both come up. Being able to use them to you know, either OTK the opponent with Boral Sword or take the Sleeper or any of those cards with Borreload is amazing. The 1 IP, you can set up the Disrupt, being able to set this up and then decide how you're going to use it. If you're going to go into Unicorn or any of the other cards is really cool. He also plays all the Nightmares. He plays the Cerebus, the Phoenix, and the Unicorn. They all come up. They're all generic cards. There's no reason not to play them. Then he plays a 1 Pentastag. So this card is very scary. This card is absolutely terrifying. So this card reads, if your linked monster attacks a defense position monster, inflicts piercing damage to your opponent. Basically, you stick UTC under this and you inflict piercing damage to them. And it hurts a lot. UTC is 3,500. You hit 2 monsters or you hit into the token, like it's like 7,000. It's so much damage. Pentastag is scary, you guys. I'm gonna tell you right now. That card is terrifying in this deck. So yeah, don't sleep on this card. This card can win you so many games because you just destroy your opponent even when they try to set monsters. The 1 copy of Almirage and the 1 copy of Security Dragon, wrapping up the extra deck. Now just his return report real quick. So round 1, he played against Lunalight. He beat it 2-0. Round 2, he played against Orcus Danger. He beat it 2-0. Round 3, he played against Saladin. He beat it 2-0. Round 4, he played against Infernoid. It was his loss. He said it's a bad matchup for me, especially with Layer. Makes sense. Layer tributing off your guys does kind of suck. Gets around any like protection and whatnot because you don't see it coming. Round 5, he played against Heroes and he beat them 2-1. Round 6, he played against Goki. I guess it's called Goki Hand Traps. He beat it 2-0. Round 7, he played against Salad and he lost 0-2. I bricked both games. I drew 4 babies, Overtex and Lightning Storm. Game 1 and Game 2 was double True King, Terraforming, Lost World, Tyranno, and Set Rotation. Ouch. It happens. Round 8, I played against Subterra and I beat it 2-0. Round 9, I played against Altergeist and I beat it 2-0. Game 1, he set 4 back row and I Lightning Stormed him. Well, you know, it is what it is. If they don't have the out to Lightning Storm, then, you know, you just win. And last round was the mirror match and he beat it 2-1. He wants to give shout outs to Kona Cheese, aka BA God. Shout out to my sponsor Walter. Shout out to Clifton for always helping me. Shout out to Christian Urena for helping me as well. Shout out to Cardboard Legends, Toy Mandala, and Project CCG, all the good shops down here in SoCal. Shout out to Joey, and also shout out to Pedro and Ray. Anyone asking, I decided to play this deck because it doesn't lose to Nibiru, and I don't want to lose to Lightning Storm if I were to play a back row deck because you can't really recover after that. I picked this deck up a week and a half ago before regional, and I like it a lot. Clearly you did, bro. You brought it all the way to 11th place at our California regional. Like I said, it was 10 rounds of Swiss, 700 plus players, and this was, I believe, the highest placing Dino list, being 11th place. I can double check that, but I'm pretty sure it is the highest placing Dino deck. And again, like I always say, do not sleep on this deck, you guys. This deck is terrifying at times, and anyone who's ever played Dinos can tell you, you underestimate this deck, they'll OTK you. You don't prepare for this deck, they'll OTK you. This deck is very strong. It makes Appaloosa with ease. It makes LAKEY and Dolka with ease. It makes UTC with ease, and it can just do so many things that, you know, you're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to get OTK. There's little interactions in this deck that once they go off, they're insane. But overall, I really enjoyed the deck. I hope you guys did too. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below and I'll be sure to get back to them. This is pretty much it for the deck profiles. If there's any others, I wasn't able to get the spiral and the other salad lists that topped. I just haven't been in contact with anyone that had those lists. If they do pop up, you'll see them here on the channel. But I am on my way to the UDS in Tulsa, so you'll definitely see more content from there. Hopefully you guys are going as well. But yeah, shout out to you, Fabian. Thank you again for sending me the deck list, bro. Congratulations on getting 11th place with this deck, and I see a lot of great things happening for Dinos this format. Hopefully you guys do. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.